boy, man. Time for a movie review. And this is going to have mixed feelings. A lot of people have mixed feelings about this film. If you're a die-hard fan like I am. I just seen Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. This has nothing to do with the Emilia Djokovic, Paul W.S. Anderson films. This goes straight by the first two games. And with that being said, when you watch the film, it's almost like reliving the gaming experience of the first two Resident Evil games, whether it was on the PlayStation back in 96, 97, 98. So I think the first game came out in 96, and then the second game came out in 98. So this is a combination of both parts 1 and 2 of the first two games. A lot of people, you know, if you're not a Resident Evil fan, or if you've never seen Resident Evil before, you're not going to know that experience of what it was like playing the games. Because right when I got in there, I seen it, and it just felt like this stuff is bringing back memories. Raccoon City, very, very much like it was in the game, pretty much. The RPD, Raccoon Police Department. The way they have the front entrance, identical to Part 2 from the game. The Spencer Mansion, I should say, because it was a tongue twister there. The Spencer Mansion. Now that was, you get into the double doors, walk in at the hallway with the red carpet, and then you see the stairs going up the middle, and then there's doors on this side, that side, like a little bit of hallway corridor. It's a foyer area. Identical to the game. Pretty much mainly identical to the Resident Evil remake that came out on the GameCube. Of course, there was a couple of the characters were race-bended, like Jill Valentine and Leon S. Kennedy. Those characters were essentially, they were Caucasian in the games and in the previous Paul W.S. Anderson movies. But that does not bother me. I think it's cool. It's a different take. I enjoy it. I loved the Jill character. I love the not the Carlos character. I love the Leon character, along with Claire and Chris. Wesker was pretty cool. The thing that I think a lot of people had a problem with this movie is that they crammed both the first and second Resident Evil games into one to make it into a movie. That didn't really bother me at all. I think what kind of bothered me was the fact that we didn't get to see much of the mansion, which every time I saw the mansion, I thought, this is amazing. It was like, walking right into the video game. Then, you get to Raccoon City, and just to feel that brings back a lot of the memories. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer. If you guys have seen the trailer for it, you'll notice there's a truck driver in there. There's a scene in the original game where the truck driver does get bitten and gets turned into a zombie. I think that might be the same way as for the Resident Evil 2 remake that came out for the PS4. I have not played it. I did play a demo of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake. That was pretty cool. But anyways, Hollywood's going to do what they want, and what I'm leading up to now is when you're watching this film, you're going to notice different things that were not in the game, and you gotta realize something too when you're sitting there watching it. And I've been a long time movie lover my whole entire life, and with everything advancing with the internet and stuff, you're gonna know that Hollywood does things differently. There's really no more CGI effects. Well, not CGI effects, but practical effects. Like stuff like makeup, prosthetics. There might be a little bit in the film, but like for I heard some YouTubers say something about the G-Virus monster. Yes, the G-Virus monster is in it. I mean, if you're a big fan of Resident Evil 2, that's a little bit of a an insight if you want to know what that monster was. That is the G-Virus monster. And the thing with that, some people didn't like the CGI. They said the CGI looked fake on it. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, now where did they get that the monster or the CGI effects were fake? Someone had said the zombie dogs looked better in the Paul W.S. Anderson films. And just sitting there and just thinking about that, I'm thinking, man, how can people say that? Because this was, you know, awesome. I mean, there was no, I mean, the dogs didn't look bad at all. The crows, the zombie crows were really, really cool. I thought that was a pretty cool element they put in there, because you didn't get to see the zombie crows until Resident Evil Extinction, and we're going back to the Paul Anderson film there. But I think the other thing too people had a problem with was, you know, some people might make a problem, hey, this character was supposed to be this race, and you know, some people just make assumptions. And to me, you know, if you look back at it, if you're a superhero fan, you look back at it, in the comics, Nick Fury started out as a white guy, right? Then they switch it to an African American guy. So in the Avengers films or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Nick Fury is played by Samuel Jackson. Doesn't bother me at all. I think anybody can play any character. They can race bend any character. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I just think it's really, really unique. I can see why some people might have a problem with the Leon S. Kennedy character in this film, because he didn't look like the character. Neither did Jill, but I love both characters. That's my opinion. People are going to have a different opinion on it. Now, this does have a little bit of elements of the Resident Evil remake that came out for the GameCube, because you do get a Pacific character in there. You do get Lisa Trevor, which, I mean, you'll find out. And you do got to stay. You do got to stay at the end of the film, because there is a post-credit scene, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but hopefully we do get another film, because the way that post-credit scene ended, it actually sets up for another movie, in which I do hopefully we get it. But if I had to rate this movie, I like this movie better than the Paul Anderson. So I'm going to cut his name short, because I'm not going to keep saying Paul W.S. Anderson. That's just too much out there. Paul Anderson, I like this film better than the Paul Anderson Resident Evil films, because in the Resident Evil games there was never an Alice character. And, you know, I just didn't like that element, that twist. The only one in the Paul Anderson Resident Evil franchise that was pretty much close to the games was Resident Evil Apocalypse. The Nemesis looked awesome in that film. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're going to make another one. The way that post-credit scene came on for Resident Evil Raccoon City, there is going to be another one. They have to make another one, because the way the post-credit scene set up for another film. But I mean, the action, the tone of this film was, like I said, I can't describe it as much as I can, but it's like you're playing the game, but in like in a virtual reality type setting. You're not really you're there in the theater watching it, but you're actually watching the actual characters come to life on screen once again, and it's in a different Resident Evil. And they did it right, because this follows the actual first two games. And you know, what can you say? I mean, you can't get any better than this, I don't think. You know, like I said, I do have one gripe. I wish there was more of the Spencer Mansion, but I can deal with it. It is what it is. I mean, it's Hollywood. The writers, they'll do things differently than what the games do, but this was pretty much spot on with the games, which I really appreciated. But other than that, guys, it's a must-see if you guys are horror fans. If you're a zombie fan, it's a must-see. Some of you guys might like it, some of you guys might not like it. Give it a try. It's a hit or miss. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not going to let people go ahead and say, oh, I don't know, how could you like this movie? Hey, there's some movies I liked that reviewers reviewed and said, oh, this was bad, that was bad. There's some movies like that I actually seen that people actually dished on that I really enjoyed. So, that is it. I got a couple other videos I'm going to be doing later on tonight, and stick around for that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.